Welcome back to Meaning in Christ. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic, the origins of Satan. The concept of Satan has evolved within Jewish and Christian traditions, transitioning from an adversary in the Hebrew Bible to the arch-nemesis of God in Christian theology. This reflects historical, theological, and cultural shifts, and we'll explore each of these layers to understand the development of Satan as a central figure in Christianity. Let's begin by tracing his origins from ancient Israelite texts to modern interpretations. The word Satan comes from a Hebrew term which translates to adversary or accuser. This term is not used to represent a singular, independent evil being. Instead, it generally refers to a figure, often human, acting as an opponent or accuser. The Book of Job has one of the earliest mentions. Satan appears as a member of God's divine council, fulfilling the role of an accuser. Far from being a demonic figure, he serves a purpose under God's direction, testing Job's faith to reveal its authenticity. In Zechariah 3:1-2, here, Satan stands next to the high priest Joshua, accusing him in a divine courtroom scene. Again, he acts more like a prosecutor than a malevolent, independent force. In early Jewish tradition, Satan is seen as a functionary of God's court, working under divine authority rather than against it. By the time of the New Testament, the concept of Satan had undergone significant transformation. Instead of a divine prosecutor, Satan is increasingly depicted as a fallen angel opposing God. For example, in the temptation of Jesus, Satan offers worldly power in exchange for Jesus' worship, highlighting his role as the tempter. In Revelation chapter 12:7-9, the Apostle John describes a cosmic battle between Michael and his angels and the dragon, identified as Satan. This depiction of Satan as a rebellious and expelled figure symbolizes his transition from God's courtroom to an enemy of God's kingdom. The theological shift from a heavenly functionary to an evil, rebellious figure reflects broader changes in Jewish and Christian thought during this era. Many scholars believe that the Babylonian exile and subsequent exposure to Persian culture influenced Jewish theology. Zoroastrianism introduced the idea of a battle between good and evil, which may have contributed to Jewish apocalyptic literature that emphasized a cosmic struggle between good and evil. In Dead Sea Scrolls, texts like the Community Rule describe spirits of light and darkness, marking a shift toward a more dualistic perspective, where Satan, or Belial, as referred to in the scrolls, takes on a more sinister, rebellious role. The apostles Paul and John significantly deepened the portrayal of Satan. Paul's letters present Satan as a real, personal force of evil opposing God's will, while John's writings depict him as the father of lies and a deceiver. Paul views Satan as an active and malevolent force, influencing humanity to sin and rebel against God. Early church fathers, figures like Ignatius, Irenaeus, and Augustine contributed to a more developed theology of Satan as a fallen angel who embodies the principle of evil. Different thinkers offer varied interpretations of Satan's role. Bart Ehrman, a historian, notes that the concept of Satan as a personal evil being opposing God is absent in much of the Hebrew Bible. This view developed over time, influenced by Second Temple literature and early Christian thought. Jordan Peterson, a psychologist, interprets Satan symbolically, viewing him as a representation of humanity's capacity for self-deception and evil. For Peterson, Satan's story is an allegory of internal moral struggle, reflecting the broader tension between good and evil impulses. The figure of Satan has undergone significant changes, evolving from an adversary in the Hebrew Bible to the embodiment of evil in Christianity. This transformation illustrates broader theological shifts influenced by historical and cultural interactions. Understanding Satan's development offers valuable insights into Judeo-Christian theology and challenges us to think deeply about moral duality and the nature of evil. As always, if you found this video meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the intersections of faith and history.